What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video where today we're going to have the pre-game preview for the Chicago Bears coming to Indy, coming into Lucas Oil Stadium. What do we think is going to happen? What do we think the final score is going to be? We're going over all of it. And of course, what I want to start with here is going to be the injury reports, right, as we know it. Now, I am, because of my day job, having to record this before the Friday injury report comes out. So at this point, I just know Wednesday and Thursday, I'm going to estimate from things I've been hearing and from what we saw last week and try to guess, what's going to end up happening here. But, of course, starting with the Bears as we normally do, starting with the opponent here, Keenan Allen has not practiced this week. Doesn't really sound like he's going to play. If he practices Friday, maybe that changes it. But with him being so new to the team, coming off, not practicing last week, not playing, not practicing so far this week, I imagine he could be out, especially because Roma Dunze has been limited both days of practice, and he played this past week. He'll probably play this weekend, and he'll be in there, and they'll just sit Keenan Allen. They also have a fullback who has not practiced, Tevin Jenkins. Didn't practice on Wednesday, but did end up practicing on Thursday as a limited participant, so he's able to get back on the field, and he'll probably be able to suit up. I know Matt Eberflus said there's going to be no changes to the offensive line, so again, this could be a Kwity Paye legacy game. Dio Dingbo, whoever's lining up on that left side, maybe even go ahead and put Latu in on that left side, let him get in on some of the action. That the right tackle there for the Bears doesn't look great. Clip came out about him. He doesn't look great. So we'll see what happens there. Tevin Jenkins, though, the other tackle, looks like he'll probably be able to suit up. Mercedes Lewis gets a rest day. He'll be okay. Zach Pickens, defensive tackle, he has not practiced this week. Good chance that he ends up out with that groin injury. And then as you look at all the other guys, we have one full participant, guy that was upgraded, Kyron, don't even know the rest of his name. He's a tackle, and he was able to get back to being a full participant at practice. As we go on, really names that we need to know. Again, everybody else is limited participant. Montez Sweat, limited both days. Travis Homer popped up on the injury report on Thursday with a finger injury. Nate Davis, guard, limited participant. So they have a lot of guys and a lot of key guys on their injury report, but looks like a lot of them are going to end up being able to suit up. Keenan Allen looks like really the only known veteran player that they're really going to be missing out on this week. Though they should have everybody else. And then when you look at the Colts, and what we're dealing with, we have Julian Blackman, full participant both days. Josh Downs, full participant both days and completely expected to play. Those are all the reports, expected to play. He said he expects to play. He's good to go. Matt Gay thought he was going to end up not being on the field this upcoming week. Turns out he's a full participant on Thursday. And that right quadricep, for whatever the reason is, whether it was the hernia that was causing it or, just flared up, whatever the case, Matt Gay coming back, full participant. Makes me a little nervous, honestly, if we have to kick a field goal to win the game. I don't think it'll get to that point, but I think we could end up losing out on points this week because of Matt Gay. Latu, because of the hip, did not practice. He's the only person on either side with the designation at this point, and the only person, at least on the Colts website, who has his actual injury listed with the hip, and he hasn't practiced. It'll be interesting whether or not he practices Friday. At this point, it feels like Latu's probably not playing, but it would be nice, especially with DeForest Buckner out, for him to be able to get back on the field. But that might be the plan, right? You have Buck out for a game, Latu out for a game. Just let Latu rest up, rest that hip up. Hasn't really had a break, right? Finishing his final college season, training for the combine, and doing everything that rookies have to do, right? The summer mini camps, then training camp. So he hasn't really had a rest. Hey, let the rookie get a week off, let him heal up, let him get a little fresh, and then the other 3 weeks that Buck is out, Latu going to come back with a little bit of a renewed energy and start letting him go crazy off the edge. Maybe that's the plan. Who knows? We have the Steelers next week, but before then, looks like Latu could end up missing the Bears game. Kenny Moore, full participant. Rodney Thomas is also a full participant. So when you look at the injury report, it looks like pretty much all these guys going to be able to play except for Latu. Obviously, we're not going to have Buck this week, which could be a big deal. But when you really start looking at the Bears, and pardon the interruption, I just want to let you guys know how much I appreciate you stopping by the channel. And I also want to say that when I look at the analytics, 50% of the people that come by and watch this channel are not subscribed. So as Peyton's telling you to do here, hit that subscribe button right now. Turn those notifications on so you get notified when any videos come out. Now, if you need any further proof of why you need to subscribe, when you look at the numbers, 62.4% of the views on this channel over the last month have come from people that are not subscribed to the channel. So again, if you're one of those people, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you so much, and let's get back into the video. As I look through this, like you look at the team leaders of stats for these guys. Caleb Williams, 267 pass yards, obviously. But then Caleb Williams also rushing yards with 59 through 2 games. Caleb Williams leads the Bears in rushing with 59 yards. DJ Moore, 89 receiving yards. And then TJ Edwards, very good linebacker, 23 tackles. Nick Cross actually leads the NFL in tackles with 29. Even after last night's game, there's a Jets player at 24. I think the closest person to him is at 25. No, it's actually 24. Shaq Thompson in Carolina, 24. Quincy Williams with the Jets, 24. Jermaine Pratt and Zach Bond with Cincinnati and Philadelphia, respectively, also with 24. So everybody in the league playing catch up to Nick Cross in terms of tackles. Not really what you want, right? He has so many tackles because we've been so bad in the run game, and the running back is getting up to him way too often. So going forward, of course, that's what we're looking at stopping. But the rushing attack for the Bears hasn't been great. They have 155 yards at this point. Again, passing, they're only at 267. So the offense that they're putting up is really, when you look at it, like there are teams that could get that amount of yards in a game, right? The Jets just last night ended up getting 400 yards on the dot. That's pretty close to what the Bears have gotten throughout the season. So as I sit here and look at it, like it's a battle of, you know, honestly, just bad sides, right? You have, and honestly, the Colts have kind of been bad all around. We scored 27 points first season, or the first game, but of course, Green Bay game, offense comes up flat, defense hasn't been getting the job done. So when you look at the Colts defense against the Bears offense, two sides of the ball that haven't been able to really get it going here in 2024, which one is going to be able to find success? And of course, as Colts fans, because of the way defense is, you just kind of expect, hey, this is the game. Caleb Williams is going to figure it out. At least that's what everybody's going to think coming out of the game. And then going into week 4, he'll probably get smacked up again by whoever he plays. But against our defense, because we're Swiss cheese, hey, he'll just run right through, especially because we don't have to force Buckner. Maybe this is the DeAndre Swift 150-yard, 3-touchdown game that he has, you know, once a season basically. So, you know, it just it feels like that, right? And it's unfortunate that it feels like that, because again, I think we have a bunch of dogs on defense. I think we have the guys to be able to get it done. I just don't know if we have the coaching and the system to be able to get it done, especially with, you know, DJ Moore is an explosive weapon. DeAndre Swift has had a history of having different games where he looks incredible. Khalil Herbert is a good player. Roman Dunze coming in, of course, as Colts fans, you know, we were all looking at him. We all think he's going to be a good NFL player. So, you know, they have the weapons on offense. Now, the thing that we should have the advantage on is the fact that the Bears' offensive line is one of the worst in the NFL right now. Our defensive line needs to be able to eat. There was so much talk about it coming into the season so far. Of course, we've been getting blown off the ball. So coming into this game, basically a must-win game in week 3. You don't want to fall to 0-3 because if the Texans keep rolling, then just like that, division almost unwinnable. Getting to the playoffs gets a lot harder. So, you know, again, it's crazy that we're at this point. But what the defense has to be able to do this week is tighten the things up that we've seen them do in the past. We've seen them stop the run in the past, but without Buck there, how are we going to get that done? You know, what kind of looks are we going to show, and what kind of looks are we going to run with to try to make sure that we're going to stop anything that they can throw? They're going to try to get DeAndre Swift on the edge. It's what teams have been doing to us so far. That's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to get on the edge. They're going to do screen passes, right? We like to sit back in coverage and keep guys away from the line of scrimmage. They're going to hit us with a lot of quick game, right? They have a rookie quarterback that, hasn't performed particularly well so far. So they're going to try to get the ball out of his hands quick, keep our defensive line out of it, and then try to run, try to stay on the edge. We have to be able to take that away and make them go up the middle. Now, again, fear is, how much is Grove going to have to play in order for us to be able to execute on defense? And what's that going to look like in the fourth quarter if the game's close, right? And then when you start talking about, all of that in the defense and getting enough rest, that's what the offense hasn't been able to do, is stay on the field, right? Defense is sitting here and they're on the field for 40 minutes a game right now. Offense is on the field for 20. They have to be able to sustain drives on the offensive side of the ball. So coming into this game for the offense, you got to get JT going. And I felt like in the last game, we were able to do that, right? JT started to cook. I think getting Anthony involved in some of that now, the Bears do have some dogs on defense. You don't want Anthony taking a bunch of hits in this game. But I think overall, Anthony, the threat of using his legs and getting Jonathan Taylor going, then that's going to open up the Alec Pierce deep shots, right? And I feel like this week, is a good opportunity to be able to do that. It's going to be hard to do that against this cover two, right? And they're talking about that. Brisker, one of the, I believe, a safety for the Bears, is talking about, we want Anthony go deep. Yeah, in cover two, cover two is meant to deter you away from going deep. You're covering everything a little further down the field. You have two deep safeties and have guys that can carry up the field, if the assignment accounts for it. So coming into this game, we're going to have to find our spots. Now, I know that Shane likes to run a lot of four verticals, right? And which is something where you can get guys in a seam in that cover two. You stress the defense out, and in that instance, that's where Anthony can pick up chunks of yards, right? And the offensive line has to have the hole, and he has to be able to see and make it through without getting hit by defensive line. But Lamar Jackson does it all the time. So, and Anthony has the elusiveness to be able to do it. And I think this is a game, because of the defense the Bears play, this is a game where, in my opinion, Anthony Richardson is going to be able to come in and use his legs to really help us keep drives alive. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're not throwing all over the yard in this one. At least that wouldn't be the game plan. Again, getting Jonathan Taylor going is going to be the key in this game. Anthony making plays with his legs and just making smart decisions, right? Taking what the defense gives you and those sustained drives, figuring out how to have those sustained drives is going to help the defense be able to stay on the sideline, make adjustments if they need to, but also get a breather. It's what they haven't been able to do, right? If we can come out of this game and we can sustain a couple drives, which I think we can. We have Josh Downs coming back this week, which is absolutely massive. That can't be understated. That's actually a massive part of what this game plan is going to be with him coming back. Sustaining drives gets a lot easier, right? Because you have those quick throws, all the motions that Josh Downs does, the threat of Josh Downs in the slot, and what he showed last year, what people were talking about him in the slot throughout training camp, coming in to this game. This is going to be Josh Downs' debut this season, didn't play in the preseason. So coming into this, I'm very excited about having him back. I think it's going to be huge for offensive efficiency. I think, he at this point might have the best hands on the team. Alec Pierce might be right behind him. Pitt has a history of bobbling balls and has dropped a few balls in his day. He's no stranger to that. And then AD, of course, in this last game, hands not looking good. So going into this game, it's all about possession. At least on the offensive side, you want to have possession of the ball as long as you can. You want to sustain a couple of drives, find the explosive play when it presents itself, right? That's why having Josh Downs back in that underneath game is going to be great. They're going to want to cheat up. Having Jonathan Taylor, getting him going is going to be major key. You need these guys to cheat up. You want them to have that eighth guy at least creeping down into the box so that when you snap the ball, you can have, Josh Downs in the slot, and that safety is going to have to, going to pay attention to the play action. So he's going to sit for a second. Then Josh Downs is coming right up the field in that seam, and he can break in. And that safety has his eyes on him for just a second. And all of a sudden, Alec Pierce on the deep post gets behind that safety, gets behind the corner. Right, that's just how I'm thinking about it when you're talking about drawing up plays and taking the shot when it's there. Anthony's good at being able to read when it's there. He was able to do that in week 1, right? I know he said afterwards, Anthony did that. He saw that they had the look that they wanted to be able to get this play off, so he made the adjustment at the line and had Alec go, and he almost slipped and fell, was able to regain himself, threw that ball 65 yards on a rope. And then all of a sudden, best throw in the NFL this year. So from an offensive standpoint, manufacturing yards, being able to just find ways to sustain drives, that's where we're going to find success in this game against Matt Eberflus in this defense that he likes to run. Again, a lot of good players on the defense. He's kind of reshaped that defense since he got there. Getting Montez Sweat was huge last season in a trade. TJ Edwards, a very good signing for them, and again, leads them in tackles with 23. So when you look at it right, both teams average 18.5 points a game, and the Bears are giving up 18 points a game, whereas the Colts are giving up 22.5 points a game. Obviously, the Texans in week 1 scoring 29 on us, that brings it up, and then you have the Packers with 16. So it's just, again, a small sample size, but I just think that overall, with Josh Downs coming into the fold, it'll be better for the offense, and it's really just what's the defense going to do. That's what this game comes down to, is the Colts defense. Of all things in this game, what can the Colts defense do? Are we going to be able to stop a team that hasn't been able to run the ball well? Are we going to let them go crazy in the run game? Are we going to have the adjustments made? Are our guys going to come out looking like they want to play football? Is it time to go? Right? This defense, we don't have an interception on the board yet. Right, the one Juju should have one. He got the toes down and his heel just rolled out. I thought they should have counted it, but nonetheless, no interceptions on the board for us this year. So something's got to give, right? When you look at both sides, something's got to give, and we have to find answers, or else we're going to start 0-3. And I just don't think that's going to happen. I think coming into this game, the adjustments are going to be made. I feel like the Bears, obviously Caleb Williams hasn't performed well. That Bears offense hasn't looked great, so I think it's a good matchup for us, in my opinion. I think this is a good matchup. Keenan Allen, presumably not playing, could be very good for us. I think that helps us out a lot. Roma Dunze, being limited in the way that he has, and not being very involved in the offense so far this season the way that I think a lot of us might have thought he would at this point. I think this Bears offense just trying to figure it out with the rookie quarterback. So I think the experience is able to take over in this game. And I think the defense is going to be able to make adjustments through the game. So even if it doesn't look good early, the offense, because Josh Downs is back, because we have Jonathan Taylor, and there's been so much noise about not giving him enough touches, I think both of those guys are going to be involved early, and I think we're going to be able to sustain some drives, going to help the defense out, and I think we're going to be able to score points on some sustained drives. I think we're going to have to kick field goals on some. Again, we could miss out on 3 points. So for me, my prediction for this game, the way I see this going with the offense and with the defense, I laid out the game plan earlier this week. If you haven't seen that, then as soon as we're done here, go check that video out and get my opinion on what the whole game plan is. But at the end of the day, again, I think the Colts able to sustain drives. I think the defense has a good matchup this week. I think we're going to wake up without Buck. Guys have to step up. So I think that's something that's going to happen. I have faith that that's going to be able to happen this week. And my score for this game, again, we could miss out on 3 points, but I think 27. We could end up with 24 if Matt Gay misses a field goal, but 27, and the Bears 13. Okay, and I think the Bears score a touchdown early at some point on us. But again, the offense able to sustain a drive, defense able to make adjustments from that point on. And I think we're able to take control of the game after the offense is able to sustain a drive and get some points on the board. Then defense comes back out. That's just how I think the game could go. Of course, again, You could have Caleb come out and be a world beater against this defense, but again, I have faith that our veteran players are going to take over with Buck out. I think Grove is going to be a big part of this game. I think Zaire is going to be a big part of this game. I think Julian Blackman coming back, he's going to be a big part of this game. So we'll see what happens again. I think 27-13 Colts is my prediction for this game, potentially 24-13. I know somebody on Twitter bet $20 or $50 on the Colts, alternate minus 19.5 spread, so to win this game by 20. So we'll see what happens. Of course, I want to know what your guys' prediction is. You let me know down in the comment section. I want to hear what your guys' opinion is. How do you think this game is going to go? Game right around the corner. Again, want to know your guys' opinions on all this down in the comment section. And of course, don't forget to subscribe with notifications on so you continue to get notified anytime we have any more videos coming out on this channel. As always, take care of yourself. And of course, I appreciate you stopping by for another video. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.